Today, well, I do just want to say real quick that if you're not familiar with the UF IFAS extension, we are educators for the university who work in the different counties of Florida. So we bring the research and resources from the counties, or I'm sorry, from UF to our clientele or citizens in the counties all throughout Florida. Um, I am in the Panhandle region. So, like I said, all throughout Florida, even the Central Time Zone. Um, so it's only 11 o'clock here. So, but at any rate, we'll go ahead and get started. Today, I'm going to talk to you about rest and renewal. And I have some tips or some things that you might want to check into to make sure that you are getting enough rest and renewal in your life. Now, some expectations, though, of course, for this is that I am not a doctor. This is not personal advice for any individual. So these are ideas to get you thinking about some opportunities for change in your daily life, topics of discussion with your health or mental health care provider, friends and family, and of course, the purpose is to share educational information. So this is not me telling you you should do this or you have to do this. These are ideas to get your mind motivated and to think about how you can improve your rest and renewal in your life. So we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of rest and renewal. Of course, incorporating regular periods of rest into your daily routine can significantly enhance your physical and mental well-being. This is essential for personal growth and rejuvenation. We cannot run on an empty tank. So the way that we refill our tank is by getting rest regularly and good rest. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And rejuvenating ourselves, whether that means taking time off from work, getting enough sleep, all those types of things. Embracing rest helps recharge your mind and body. So this can help you lead a more fulfilled and balanced life. It improves focus, creativity, and productivity. I want you to think about the last time you were maybe in school or had a project to do for work and were, pulling that all-nighter, and think about how much energy that took, how much that drained from you. Okay. Doing things on that empty tank without being rested does not really behoove us. Okay. We're not going to produce the best of the best, all that we're able to. So, some sources of stress and anxiety, okay, in our lives. This could be have to do with family or kids, okay, just the day-to-day going on managing. I don't mean that they're, annoying you or whatever, but that day-to-day tasks having to do with managing your family, kids, your marriage, partnership, whatever. Work can be a source of stress. Of course, not at UF, right? Finance, relationships, major life events, demands from school, daily tasks that you have. I don't have children, but I sure do have a lot of things that I'm still responsible for. Self-doubt or negative self-talk, and of course, health can all be anxieties of stress. You may have other can be sources of stress. You may have other sources of stress or Whatever this is, not an exhaustive list, just a list of examples of things that could stress you out. Now, when we're talking about sources of stress, we kind of have to ask ourselves, okay, what can we do in order to lessen the effects of these sources of stress? Some of those are getting enough sleep. Some of those things are having fun with our friends. Those types of things can take our minds off of these stressors or anxiety. But some things that we need to remember is that we can control some of these sources of stress or anxiety. Um, and our actions around them or our attitudes about them. So some things that we can control having to do with these sources of stress or anxiety, okay, are up on the screen. So if you're talking about you have stress about work, maybe you have a boss who's not too kind, or a coworker who you just don't like dealing with. We can definitely control some of those the factors surrounding those sources of stress. So we can control our attitude surrounding, or I'm sorry, our attitude and time spent outside of work. As far as financial stressors, things that we can control include our spending or adherence to a budget. And of course, this is an example. I'm not telling you, that you you have to be better at this, or you should definitely know how to do this. These things take time and work. So our relationships, if we're hanging around negative people who cause us stress, we may need to take a step back and decide that we need to control or take charge of who we give our time to. So there's lots of things that feel out of our control, like work, major life events, those daily tasks, our health. But in fact, we can control some of the surrounding factors that help that can help mitigate that stress. So we're going to talk about some more ways to do that. Okay, so essentially, every day embracing mindfulness. Oh, I need another cup of coffee, I think. Um, Embracing and incorporating mindfulness can enhance your overall well-being. So, in order to do that, you can start by setting aside a few moments each day for reflection, allowing your mind to focus on the present. Okay, so setting aside those stressors, um, and participating in simple techniques such as deep breathing, mindful walking in nature can transform your ordinary routines into opportunities for renewal. Okay, making mindfulness a habit can create a path towards a more balanced and fulfilling life. So, some aspects for aspects for rest and renewal. Okay. So, some things you really should consider doing are prioritizing sleep. Okay. Quality sleep is vital for your overall well being. So, you need about 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted rest. If that means, you know, getting the kids to start sleeping in their own bed, or uh, kicking the dog out of the bedroom for the night, whatever interrupts your sleep, you're going to want to create and move towards having a dedicated space for that relaxation, that quality sleep, in order to disconnect and make sure that you're meeting your own needs. So Something you can do to help with this is create a consistent sleep routine. Okay, so I have on my phone, I have a little timer that tells me when it's ready to start getting ready for bed, or when it's time to start getting ready for bed. So that means at that time, I'm shutting off electronics. I'm going through my routine of maybe reading and then brushing my teeth and then time for sleep. So getting into that habit can help establish, good, healthy routines. Mindful practices again. So engaging in activities like deep breathing, listening to music, things like that can help reduce stress. Connecting with nature. So, nature has been found to be very beneficial. It promotes feelings of calm and tranquility. So, engage in those outdoor activities. I know it's hot in the summer, but if you wake up a little bit early, maybe you can take a walk when it's a little bit cooler out. Um, I like to go for my walks in the evening after work, again, when the sun's down and it's a little bit cooler. So, and then setting boundaries, learning to say no. This can be done with people who you have relationships with work, with volunteer opportunities. So, prioritize your personal time for rest and renewal. How many of you, and I don't need a response to this necessarily, but how many of you would ever um, cancel a doctor's appointment because you didn't have time for that? Okay. I want you to set boundaries, set time aside for rest, renewal, rejuvenation, and treat it like you would a doctor's appointment. Okay, you wouldn't cancel that because it has to do with your health. And that's important. And the doctor's time is important, etc. Well, guess what? Your time is important. Your health is important. So prioritizing your personal time and making it as important as a doctor appointment or whatever you think is important. Um, is one way to kind of set those boundaries. Um, I every day I have scheduled lunch on my calendar. Now in my office, we don't have set lunches. We're free to take that at 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever. Um, but I know that I need a break. And if I don't prioritize that break, that lunch, then I'm going to move it around. I'm going to maybe skip it. Or somebody is going to schedule a meeting at that time. So making sure that you schedule those types of things for yourself is very, very important and kind of gets you in the habit. Okay, so activities for renewal. Now in the chat, I just want you to take a moment and write down, what do you like to do to rest, relax, renew yourself, whatever it is. I want to hear some ideas. I've got some pictures in here, but oh, quilting. I love that, Victoria. Sleeping, Courtney. That's good. That's good. Aubrey, I think you're saying sleeping as well. I like to do that. Binge watch TV. Okay. Yeah, I there's definitely room for that in my life too. Reading and gardening. It's wonderful. Yoga. I love that. Cooking something new. That's so fun. I like to do that and then share it with others. Sometimes, okay, travel. Yes, that's really great. I love traveling. And of course, this is going to be different for everybody. So, Victoria, cleaning is not my idea of resting or renewing myself, although I could see where having a clean space might feel really good to you. And it's also something that you can focus on rather than the other stressors in your life. Allison, as far as travel goes, for you, that's really relaxing. For others, that seems like a lot of work. So to plan, to get ready, to prepare all that stuff, find, babysitters or pet sitters or whatever. Um, so this is very individualized, and I want you to really think about if you don't have anything that you can list here, or that's okay. But I really want you to think about what is something that I can do where I can disconnect from what's going on in the world or in my world and take a break from that stressor, from that world, from whatever's going on, and just kind of reset my mind. It is amazing. For mine, there are some days I like to listen to music. That really gets me going or gets me focused. And then I feel better. From some days I need sleep. I'll get upset about something. I'll be annoyed at something or angry. And you know what helps? Sleep. It resets my emotions. It resets my thinking. I'm able to process that information or news or whatever it is better. Okay, so thanks for sharing all of that with me. One thing that we can do, and we can all do, and we can try this together, is our breathing exercises. Oops, okay. So, benefits of breathing exercises are that this can increase oxygen to your body, help regulate your emotions, reduce heart rate and your blood pressure. Okay. And it also, like I said earlier, provides you something to focus on instead of whatever is stressing you out. So, um, ways that you can participate in breathing exercises are doing box breathing. That is breathing. It's called, or also called square breathing, and it's breathing in a pattern. We're going to actually practice that in just a minute. Another one is called number breathing, and that is breathing in for X amount of seconds, holding, and then breathing out for X amount of seconds. And the nice thing about these breathing activities are you can do that at any time, anywhere. Or belly breathing. This is diaphragm breathing. I can't say that word. That's why I said diaphragm. This is done by placing a hand on your belly and taking full deep breaths, allowing your diaphragm to expand and your belly to rise, and then exhaling. So, like I said, the nice thing about this is you can do this anywhere, anytime. Even if you just, you somewhere stressed and you just don't know all this stuff that Jill was talking about, but you just take some calm, deep breaths. So what we're going to do is practice this box breathing. So we're going to think about a square. Okay, I want you to think about that shape in your head. And if you want to, you can close your eyes. And I'd like you to visualize that square. And what you can do is think about drawing a line around that square. And as you do that, you're going to slowly breathe in, holding your breath, and then breathe out. So for each side of the box that you're drawing in your mind, you're going to breathe in, and you can draw with your mind on one side of the square. So breathe in. Everybody can do this. Hold and breathe out. And then it's time to go around the other side of the square. So breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Okay. And then again, breathe in. So we're doing the box or the bottom of the square. Hold and breathe out. And then breathe in. And you're going up the last side. And you'll hold and breathe out. Okay. So as easy as that. Um, you can do this as many times as you need or any time of the day. If you're at any rate, this is a great one too for kids to do. They really like these breathing exercises and drawing those shapes kind of in their mind. Number breathing, we can practice that. That is just breathing in for, say, 3 seconds, whatever number feels good to you. So you can breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and hold, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3. And you can do that repeatedly. And then belly breathing again, just connecting that mind and body. And so placing a hand on your belly and taking full, deep, slow breaths, feeling that diaphragm expand and your belly rising, and then exhaling. Okay. Some other things that you can do in order to, relieve yourself of some stressors are to practice gratitude. So, keeping a gratitude journal where you regularly note things that you're thankful for. So, kind of like looking on the positives. Okay. Um, Doing things for others. Uh, so random acts of kindness. I love doing this one. These are just kind gestures to others without expectation of a reward. So you don't need a thank you. You don't need, to get something back. Just giving to others. And volunteering. So sharing your time or talents with others. These are all ways to kind of focus on something else, reduce your stress, and just get your mind doing something productive and positive. Okay. And then, of course, we know that sleep is a very important factor for health and wellness. So, as adults, we typically want to get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and that's uninterrupted each night. If you do want to know more about sleep, I'll tell you that my colleague Suzanne Holloway wrote a really good blog article. It's called The Science of Z's: Why Sleeping Matters. And in that article, she talks about, why we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep and what the sleep cycles are that we go through, some sleep disorders. And again, these are some benefits that some habits that she identified for getting a good night's sleep and promoting those better habits. So sticking to a schedule, very important to because it just gets your mind, your body ready for bed. Limiting electronics, all of that blue light and stimulating your mind is not helpful when you're trying to get it to shut down and relax. Relaxing before bed. So reading, listening to calming music. For some people, this might mean taking a warm shower or a bath, having a cup of tea. Don't lie awake in bed. So if you are there and your eyes are wide open and you can't fall asleep, do one of those relaxing activities. Go for a walk. Um, Journal, whatever you need to do, but don't just lie there trying to fall asleep. Maybe count sheep. Try a cooler bedroom. So typically cooler bedrooms, people find better for a better environment for sleep. And avoid alcohol before bed. Not only does alcohol can it make it harder to fall asleep, but it can kind of make your sleep not as good. You may wake up from it. If you have sleep apnea, it may make it worse. So you really don't want to be drinking before bed. Have a cup of tea instead. Okay. Another way that you can promote sleep is by creating that nice, and remember we were talking about that environment that's not, it has no distractions, that type of thing. But creating an aromatherapy pillow spray is one way to kind of enhance that space. So if you get a small spray bottle, and I hope you can kind of see what I have here, this is probably about 4 or 5 ounce size spray bottle. You can fill that about half, or I'm sorry, about a third of the way full with witch hazel. So fill that up. You can get witch hazel at your local discount store or at the pharmacy. And then you can select of your choice an essential oil to add to the bottle. Now, if you do total 20 drops of an essential oil in that size bottle, you'll get a mild scent. And the more you add to it is you'll get a stronger scent. So keep in mind that you may want to start off making a mild scent and not to go too far. You'll fill the rest of the bottle up with water. So you've got your witch hazel, your essential oils, and water. You'll cap the bottle and shake it, and then you can spray your pillow. Aromatherapy can be a tool that we use to relax our bodies and our minds. So you can mix that up with whatever scents are relaxing to you. You'll spray with a light mist on your pillow. Remember, and you'll let it dry, and then you can lay in it, and it kind of just enhances the comfort of your room. So this is not intended as a body spray, and do keep in mind that some essential oils may not be safe for use around pets or for direct contact with the skin. So make sure that you're reading your bottles and doing research on your aromatherapy. Okay. Now, lavender is kind of my go-to for pillow mists, but these are some combinations that you may want to try. If you're looking to mix things up a little bit, you could try lavender, chamomile, and bergamot is one popular combination. Lavender and orange. Now, orange kind of wakes me up, makes me feel refreshed. So I'm not sure if I would try that one, when I'm getting ready for bed. But for some people, it might relax them. Cedar, lavender, and frankincense. So just an example, let's say you can kind of play around. Whoever said they like cooking, this might be another fun little way to mix things up and experiment and try mixing those different scents and see how they make you feel. Now, if you don't want to make a pillow spray, another way to do this is by, and like I said, I hope that you can see what I'm holding here is get it in front of me. This is a diffuser that you can buy. I purchased this online and I add my essential oils to that, and I have that sometimes running in my office. Of course, I'm sensitive to folks who have problems with scents or oils or things like that. So whenever I use that in the office, I keep that in mind that maybe not everybody likes smelling what I've got going on there. Some resources for rest and renewal. So UF has, and I take advantage of this. They have access to, I think that there's a limited number. Jordan, do you know more about this? Using the Calm app or Weight Watchers?
Sure, yeah. We still have subscriptions available if you guys want to go sign up. It's on the Work Life website. I'm going to drop a link in a little
Thank
when we're
you.
kind of closer to the end, and you guys will be able to explore some of our wellness resources.
Yeah, so those are resources that you can use. They even the Weight Watchers app, I'm sure, has resources on there or programs for stress reduction or renewal, things like that. UF Health, of course, has a lot of resources. I've got kind of a picture of their webpage here. Whether you're having trouble with your or finding that you need some help with regards to family or spiritual help or help at the workplace, there's support for you. Tickets at work. I know that might sound like a weird one, but if you're talking about disconnecting and having fun, this is a great resource for doing that and saving a little bit of money. And then Blues 365. That's a resource if you've got Florida Blue insurance. That may be available to you to, again, save some funds on things like yoga, working out, all of those types of activities. And then that's what I've got today. So hopefully I've sparked some creative creative thoughts for yourselves, for thinking about how can I take time, what can I do, where can I go, to make sure that I am getting enough rest and rejuvenation in my life.